Welcome to the July 18th OpenJ9 community call. As always, if you can add your name and affiliation to the list of attendees so we have some idea of who's regularly joining. We've got the usual agenda before us. No lightning talks scheduled this week, but if you'd like to give one, feel free to reach out to me and we'll get something scheduled. I should pause and see if there's anything else people want to add to the agenda. We can either add it in the any other business section or tackle it right off the top. Okay, then let's take a look at the new user issues. Looks like there's been a couple that have come in the last little bit. And they're all getting a little bit of conversation, so I don't think there's anything critical to cover here. Is there anything else on this list that needs some conversation or investigation or focus today? Okay, then we will jump back to our roadmap section. The brings us to the 040 release. Just pull the milestone up, I think. I think we're down to a couple of issues here.
I saw some changes in the OpenSSL repo recently, whether it was yesterday, I forget, that suggested an update is coming soon. Does anybody have any information on that?
Pete's usually the one who tracks that, and I don't see him on the call.
No, Pete's away until at least Thursday.
Okay. Is there an update from anyone on the AIX unsatisfied link error? There was some discussion last week on the HARF buzz, or
yeah, I guess I think we've dealt with that in the 0.40 branches by sort of backing up to the previous version and applying the security fix there that we had in 0.38. But hope there's work upstream happening to adopt a even newer newer compiler on AIX, version 17. So maybe we'll get our fix that way.
Okay.
Does that mean we don't need to test 16.01.14 or whatever it is?
We haven't changed. Yeah, we haven't changed the compilers we're using.
Okay. Because Pete had opened an issue to try it on that level.
Yeah, that was one that we backed up.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. And does anyone have a status on revert we have here?
I'm not really sure why we're waiting on this one, but it's not critical.
Okay.
It's the source code override annotation.
All right. Yeah. Odd that we have a draft PR still in this. Because it looks like we're not ready to start the GA builds and tests at that point. Adam, is that correct? Nobody's given you the go-ahead on that yet?
No. But there's a few infra issues which will hopefully be resolved today.
Okay. So it sounds like we're getting close on this one, but not there yet. All right, let's take a look at the 041 release. I'm just going to pull up the schedule on this again. Yeah. Code split the end of August. So we've got a little bit of time here, but 66 items is quite a bit. It looks like some of these have been the ones that have been moving forward for some time. So would be good to get a little bit of focus on these to see what can be closed out and what has to be moved forward. Probably too many here to go through this in any level of detail. Is there anything in specifically anybody wants to touch on for the 041 release? Okay. Then a quick look at the 042 for JDK 21. Looks like our code split there is delayed. So if I pull up our milestone, we still have 45 open items. That's a lot of Babneet, or just checking, is Jack on the call? Do either of you have a sense of where we are with the serviceability tests and virtual threads?
So for the serviceability tests, I've started fixing them, and PRs will be opening as soon as I verify the fix. So I think I fixed few and open PRs, and more PRs will be opened during this week. So I think the timeline that I'd given before, it's still the same. So I'd given 2 to 4 weeks last week or something, and it still says the same. But I think more issues were open last week because of a GC change, which should be fixed. I think it should be down by today. It should be down by 5 or 6 issues if the PRs get merged. So it doesn't look, although the numbers look large, it shouldn't be concerning. They all should be. We should be able to fix all of them easily.
Okay. Still talking 2 to 4 weeks. So early August, mid-August.
I think I can. End of July might be possible as well. So.
Okay. Do we have the other? Is this the long pull for items, or is there something else that's going to be delaying us beyond that time?
I think this is all the issues for the release. We might have to open another one and then push them. Unless there is a 21.00, the 2 version, which I don't think is.
Okay. The structure concurrency and the scope values previews, are those both containable within that 2 to 4 weeks that has been suggested for the other pieces?
I think structured concurrency has one issue which the JIT should be looking at, and scope values. I think they added one of the certification tests which had an assertion in a method which we previously assumed was not being used. So we have to implement that method. So I think a draft PR was created to support that in scope values, and I think we will have to go back and finish that work. So there's one issue for each at this point. So, and I think we should be able to finish it in that timeline.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. And and the foreign memory function APIs, Chang, is that containable within that same time frame?
So probably it was still a couple of change of test view, so still probably still have a lot.
Sorry, you're very quiet. I don't know if it's just sound settings or something, but I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So far we are investing in a couple of JTrack test failure on Java 21. So probably there's still one or more left to be addressed. After that, we'll move forward to implement the unit support in 21. So that should be took 1 or 2 months to get everything finished, because we need to there'll be a bunch of changes in the upcode and downcode.
Sorry, 1 to 2 months. So that would put us mid-September before that.
Yeah, very close to September or October. So that's something my estimation. Because so far there's quite a lot of things unclear how to get everything ready for that.
Okay, so the FFI work becomes our long pole. That's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, because with the first we noticed that the unit support get implemented in OpenJDK is since Java 21, but
Toby, are there more people that you can pull in to help with the FFI side of things? Is there something we can do to move that timeline up?
We can take a look, but the answer is probably not much, given that we have other deliverables for Q3, Q4 that we need to get done, and we have to keep our
Sorry.
Can you hear me at all?
Now I can hear you again.
Okay. So my connection is not very good. It's gonna warn. Yeah. So to answer the question, I think we're very limited in terms of resources at this time. We are not planning to do the September release for 21, and we're aiming for October. So if Cheng thinks he can get it in time to wrap things up in time for September, then I think we should be okay for the October release.
Okay. All right. Anything else we want to touch on for JDK 21? Okay. Adam, is there an update on the infrastructure?
I updated the doc. Sorry, I'm just driving right now, so I can't read it.
Okay.
But if you have any questions about what's in red.
No, I think we can pick this up another time when you're not driving.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam. I don't see Marius, so likely no update on JIT server. Toby, anything you want to call out for CRIU support?
Nothing new to discuss this week.
Hung, anything you want to call out for Valhalla?
Yeah, so for the preload attribute and implicit creation attribute, the first part PR is already merged.
Okay, nice. All right. Anything else people want to call out this week?
There's a issue that James opened about the difference in behavior of Xdebug. I don't know if it's worth mentioning. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I had given this a read. Is this actually affecting anyone?
I think there was a customer issue in maybe not Semaru, but Java 8. I don't know the full details on it. I just saw this. And because it doesn't have the user race tag, I figured it might go under the radar.
Okay. Add the user raise tag to it. Yeah, I believe there's work underway to remove the Xdebug option. Anyways, so I'm not sure it would be worth putting work into making this do something unless we were confident there's a large body of people being affected by this.
Yeah, I think he opened it just as an FYI, but figured I'd mention it here just in case anyone had any opinions.
Okay. Anything else we want to touch on this week? Okay, then thank you everybody, and we'll have the next one of these calls next week.